Hello and welcome to this masterclass on Sponsorships Unlocked, the secret revenue to your event. So who here wants to make more money with their event? Yes? Who here wants to make more money with their event without adding more workload to the team? Absolutely. And who here wants to take their event to the next level? Well, you are in the right place. I'm going to share with you the Sponsorships Unlocked, uncovering the secret revenue to your event and the steps that you'll be able to do so and to what to look out for. So, hi there, Lauren Penny, your event monetization expert, and I work with seven-figure entrepreneurs to host in-person profitable events without adding more workload to their team, implementing the branched out monetization strategy. So, you are here now listening to this masterclass, and you know that it's not just listening to the masterclass, it's now applying the activities that I'm going to be helping you to demonstrate here in the session so that you can really step forward and take your event to the next level and really unlock that revenue stream. So, sound good? Great. Let's dive in. So, sponsorships, it is such a fantastic area that so many entrepreneurs are literally leaving on the table. There is money that you are running in with your events, but without the application of sponsorships, there is so much, not just from a financial perspective, but so much more visibility and marketing. I'm going to step through those opportunities that now you can step into. So does sound good? Good, good, good. So most likely you are here because one, you are either running your own events now and you know that sponsorships, you either could be doing some sponsorships, but you really want to take that to the next level, and or you haven't implemented sponsorships to your current event. So if that is you, you're in the right place. Or two, you might be thinking of running an event, but you may have done so earlier in your journey, maybe around that six-figure phase. But now as you're moving into that multiple six and into the seven-figure, you want to be able to really apply sponsorships at that really strategic level so that you can really maximize why so many brands, why so many of major events around the world are applying sponsorships and how that is one of their key revenue streams. So if that is you, you're in the right place. So let's dive in. So sponsorships are so powerful in terms of they bring in financial revenue into your event, into your business. In return, fundamentally, for that marketing visibility opportunity that sponsor would like to have in presented with your audience. So sponsorships really is so powerful when you're not only also looking at it from a financial perspective, but how the sponsorship relationship works with you, because your sponsor can also be doing a lot of the marketing themselves through to their audience, which then in turn boosts ticket sales for you. So there really, really is so many more valuable opportunities for you. Now, what I see that's happening right now in the market is a lot of seven-figure, a lot of multi-six-figure entrepreneurs are hosting events and they're at a certain level. By now adding just this small little section, which is your sponsorships, it literally catapults your event because of the brand leadership, the visibility, the financial, the exposure, the relationships, the experience, the depth. It takes your event to the completely new level. The credibility, the authority, the number of people that are speaking about your event, not just what's happening inside the room, but outside. There are so many more benefits that are resulted just by applying this small piece that literally takes that event to the next level. Now, one of the most key phenomenal relationships that I've seen in the sponsorship arena is between the Olympic Games and Coca-Cola. Do you know why? Their sponsorship, their partnership has been running since 1928. Like, that is a phenomenal, lengthy relationship, right? And why? Because it is working for both of the organizations. Not only is the Olympic Games receiving revenue from Coca-Cola for them to be able to publicize and market Coca-Cola to the Olympics audience, But Coca-Cola, of course, are then able to have their products inside of the arena of the Olympics. And so that obviously those consumer goods are then consumed at the games itself. But it's also more than that. Because of that long-term partnership, it's all of the marketing capability and PR that Coca-Cola themselves, they run their own commercials, they run their own campaigns, they're putting money behind their own marketing, so that they are then further leveraging their relationships with the Olympics in front of their audience and really, capitalizing on the opportunity that they are a sponsor. So this means that to the Olympics, they are there benefiting because they're benefiting because of the marketing that the Coca-Cola organization are doing, not even the Olympics are doing. So you can see how powerful this is. So it's not just the financial relationship, the exchange financially, it's actually because of the other marketing strategic elements that come out because of sponsorships. So I hope this may now start to identify for you as you're starting to think about this. Well, what are those relationships that you could see where actually the other organization do a lot of the marketing, and then therefore that in turn sells tickets, that in turn helps further that relationship and that spend. So sponsorships 100% are a win-win scenario. This is where the two companies come together, the brands, the service providers, and really discuss what is mutually beneficial for both. It's not just one organization wins and the other loses. No. This is a strategic partnership because of the leveraging capabilities that sponsorships has the ability to do, not only for your first event either. It can be a second event. It could be the third event. It could be all the other parts of your business that are then also sponsored because of the relationship and the ways that you package up those benefits, knowing what are the motivations by that sponsor. So you can see how this is starting to open up that thought process in terms of, well, what are the things that I could start offering sponsors that aren't even just event related? It could be multiple events, and it could be other parts throughout the journey of the year. So all of a sudden your packages start to really become very attractive. Now, the absolute number one thing that I would like you to take away, there's nothing else that you take away from this presentation, this session, this time together right now, it is this. Your role as the event host is to facilitate the connection between the buyer and the seller. The more that you can do this, the more that your sponsorships are going to fly out the window. And I encourage you to now look at this, and it's not just about the audience, but it's also about the levels. And I'm going to be speaking about the levels as we work through this session. Sound good? So one of the examples I want to share with you is conceptually, okay, when we're looking at that connection between the buyer and the seller. So conceptually, we're looking at, say you're a women entrepreneur, you're running an event and you have a VIP, like celebrity speaker coming to your event. You also have raised money for a charity, okay? So it may be very appealing to a type of sponsor who is motivated by the benefit of being able to meet the celebrity speaker, being able to take their photo, be able to do an interview, be able to do a video, a podcast there on site or around that timeline, being able to present a check to the charity and demonstrate their values and their support for the charity. So you can see how that sort of benefit may be really motivated by a big brand like a bank. So a bank can then demonstrate their leadership in front of your audience because they have the same target market but offer a different product or service. Say you're a leadership coach, okay? You're running an event around leadership and scaling a business. So a bank, you don't offer banking facilities and services. So a bank can be very interested in your audience because they are their clientele. So now they're going to be at your event. They're going to be presenting on stage in a very organic way, to be able to showcase that I am the ABC Bank and we're presenting this check, and they're having a talk with the organizer on stage and how much they're supporting this initiative, plus meeting with a celebrity speaker, and then all of that other PR that they can do. Because they're a bank, they've got capital, just like the Coca-Cola scenario. So they've probably got their marketing team. They can go backstage and they can do interviews and photographs and some quick reels and so on. So they've got some marketing capital that they can bring to the party, that relationship, win-win, right? All because of a simple type scenario where you have a celebrity speaker and you've raised money through your business or through your event for the charity. So from this simple, can be seen as a simple benefit. But it's actually absolutely something that the company, the bank, can leverage. They can leverage it further and take it further, just like Coca-Cola does with their relationship with the Olympic Games. Now, in this scenario, say for example, within your leadership community, you also know that there another service provider, which is a bookkeeper. Okay, now the bookkeeper is in their second year of business. Okay, yay, they've made it through their first year. Celebrate. Now, the bookkeeper, though this benefit could be appealing, they're up on stage, they're demonstrating their values, and they're meeting the celebrity speaker, and they're doing a quick reel, off their phone in the back of house. But the connection between that return on investment might not be as clear to a bookkeeper who's in their second year, and they're making their decision whether they're going to sponsor your event because of their return on investment. The bank can easily be able to look at that return on investment because of the relationships that are built and that leadership style that they're presenting with their ideal customers. But they're not necessarily thinking, okay, I'm going to be opening up 10 savings accounts. Okay, but it's that leadership style. Whereas the bookkeeper, they're going to be thinking, well, it's good from a PR perspective, but where's that connection? Remember how I spoke about your role is to connect, the facilitate the buyer and the seller? So yes, the bookkeeper, by just attending your event, is going to make contacts and going to connect with other women in the room. Very similar to them being on stage in that scenario. Very similar to them being able to network between all the lunches and the breakfasts and so on. So that connection and that conversion. So they're going to be thinking more about, okay, well, as a bookkeeper, my services are $250 per month. So if there is a package that's worth $1,000, so it's a $1,000 investment, the bookkeeper is then going to think, okay, I only need to close either four clients for their first month, and everything else after that is bonus, is profit, or I need to secure one client on a 4-month retainer. Okay, for $1,000, I think that's possible within a room of 200 people, plus the benefits that you've connected because of that conversion and that relationship that you've built with the bookkeeper, knowing what some of the benefits that you're offering. So this is what we talk through a lot in our packages and pricing. By knowing what they are motivated by, that is what is going to enable the bookkeeper to say, yes, for $1,000, I am on board, because I know the return on investment most likely is going to return. So you can see how powerful this is. So it's not just about the same audience. It's also about the connection and the benefit around the actual packages themselves. So that's how powerful it is and how layered the facilitation process is when you're looking at between the buyer and the seller, and then looking at what are those key motivations. And this is what we talk through in a lot of our programs. So one of the next things I want to be able to share with you is when you're looking at sponsorships, you want to be also looking at the packages and the pricing. So a lot of sponsors are going to be either motivated or have the capability or the capacity to be able to sponsor you via cash and also in kind. So if you're running an event, you know that there is a certain amount of expenses that you're going to be rolling out. So you can certainly be able to look at all the bottom line and what you are outgoing, and how you might be able to establish a relationship with a service provider where they might provide in-kind services, for example, in return of a sponsorship deal with you. So that could be possible. In terms of the cash, you could be looking at, well, what is the marketing visibility? Now, you all know marketing because you wouldn't be here right now without knowing marketing, and you know all the different benefits around the marketing and what you might be able to offer as part of the assets that you can. So by being presented from the bookkeeper who has the same target market as you, because you're a leadership coach and every single person in that room requires a bookkeeper, the bookkeeper may then very welcomingly sponsor you in a cash scenario for them to be able to be presented in front of your audience based on the different motivations, based on that conversion, based on that lead generation capability. Maybe then they've got a free ticket to the event. Maybe they have a small exhibition at the event. Maybe there are some social media posts that lead out to their opt-in. Maybe they're included in your email list, in either a solo or a joint email list with a direct opt-in to their next step. So for $1,000, that can be seen very valuable if it took that bookkeeper to be able to run Facebook ads, for example. So you can see how powerful this is. So you can see how the motivation of either cash or in kind. Now, there's a lot of sponsors also that may also want to support your event that may not have the capital, but they're very willing to be able to provide a service or a physical product because they would like to be able to be presented within your audience. So you could give prizes out, for example. So you can start to generate here what are all of the possibilities that you can present to your sponsors when you know who your sponsorship hit list is, when you know who's motivated to be connected with your audience, and you can facilitate whether it's a cash or an in-kind. This is where those sponsorships really sting. So you can see how powerful this is by knowing the cash or the in-kind. Now, what I see in the market is I've seen a lot of proposals that are out there where the cash scenario, for example, say there's a mid-range package, and the mid-range package is between $5,000 and $8,000, and it has then a list of all of the benefits. A logo here, an exhibition table here, they're sponsoring the networking event, so on. Okay, but it says 5,000 to 8,000. Now, do you go into a bank? Not into a bank, into a shoe shop. And you walk into a shoe shop and you look at all of the beautiful shoes that are up on the shelf and you go, oh, yes, I like that shoe. That really suits my needs. So a beautiful heel, got a great color. And it's a price range between $100 and $300. So that doesn't happen. So what I encourage you to do is when you're putting your price on your package, don't do a range. Do the fixed price. What is that price? What is that talking point? What is the starting point that you're looking at? So say, for example, it's $5,000. Place the $5,000 on your proposal, and then that's when you start now negotiating what are all those benefits. So you see how powerful that is? It's like being very clear, because why would a sponsor then say, oh, do you know what? I'll sponsor you for, maybe I'll sponsor you for $8,000. Why? They don't need to. They can get the same shoe. So that's one of the key errors and mistakes that I'm seeing in the market. The other one is what I'm seeing is a lot of the packages are servicing the same motivation. So for example, it might be servicing the same marketing visibility. So all of the benefits are all related to marketing and visibility in front of the audience. But there's actually 3 motivations. So that's where, as an experienced event host, you're literally leaving money on the table because you're only looking at it from one motivation, and then created a whole heap of different packages. Might be 1,000, might be 5,000, it might be 10,000, but a lot of the benefits are all related to marketing. And that is absolutely a key motivation, but it's not the only motivation. So you want to be able to then create your packages in a way that are reaching the different motivations, objectives. A bank has a different motivation as compared to a bookkeeper in their second year. And this is what we run through when we work together in either of our in either of our sponsorships intensive, in our VIP secret weapon session, or in our done for you services. We work with you to really be able to be clear with what are those motivations, what are those benefits, what's included in all of those, so that when you do go to your sponsorship 200 hit list, you know that that's directly servicing what that connection is and what is motivated by each of that, by those buyers. Make sense? Brilliant. So I'd like to introduce you into our sponsorship trilogy. Okay, so the sponsorship trilogy framework is our methodology when we look at, so the first pillar is the audience and the category. So remember how I was talking about before around knowing who your audience is, but then knowing who has the same target market. So a bank and a bookkeeper. So that's like a category, okay? So by understanding who your target market is, which of course you already know, but your sponsor doesn't, and then looking at, well, who is that product, who is the categories, like a bank or a bookkeeper. You may know 10 different bookkeepers. Okay, but it's about by looking at that category, you know that they are very motivated by being attracted to be able to sponsor your event. Then the second part of the trilogy is the packages and the pricing. So again, looking at all of the different benefits, meeting the objectives, as well as the pricing point that is motivated from a return on investment perspective, and then married up with the sponsorship 200 hit list, which is directly who you're going to be approaching for the sponsorships. And this is when your sponsorships completely spark. This is when it sinks. This is when the signups are occurring directly from the link of your proposal, or it is booking a call so you can discuss and negotiate the packages. Because everything now is aligned. It's not disjointed. You're not looking at offering a bank something that is motivated by a bookkeeper, or offering the bookkeeper something that's motivated by a bank. It's all that's where the misalignment is happening, and that's where a lot of the confusion is happening in the market. But by completely looking at the sponsorship trilogy and how they all come together through reflection and refining, this is where it absolutely zings because of that strong alignment. Now, the third part of the scenarios is then looking at, well, who are you approaching? So are you approaching the bookkeeper, but the packages and the pricing doesn't align with what they're motivated by? The pricing point is out of their reach. So by looking at by approaching the capabilities of a bookkeeper in their second year, that's when the sponsorship, asks is starting to be quite challenging because of that alignment. So the more that then you can look at your sponsorship hit list and know that there is a strong alignment of who's in your network, who's outside of your network, but when that person reads your proposal inside of that brand, company, or service provider, when they read that proposal, they can directly see that, yes, that mid-tier is the one that we want, and that's $5,000, and these are the benefits, and this is our potential return on investment. Or a bookkeeper, when they read your proposal, they'll be like, yes, that tier, $1,000, that's mine. Boom, purchased, Stripe pin. So the more that then this alignment occurs, that's when the relationships really are cemented because of, again, that win-win scenario. So coming back to the sponsorship trilogy, it's now looking at the audience and the categories, again, looking at the packages and the pricing, and then your sponsorship 200 hit list, because now you're able to go out to the market with confidence and with clarity, knowing that these proposals are meeting the motivations of your sponsor. And there's a whole range of benefits. And so there's a strong alignment when you are speaking to a bank because they're interested in this tier, and when you're speaking with a bookkeeper in their second year of business, this tier is really appealing to them because of that possible return on investment. So you can see how they're still coming together. Can you see how some of the ideas are now starting to be generated of all of the different companies and categories and the packages and the pricing, and then your sponsorship hit list that you can now start pulling together and demonstrating? Now, with all of this information, would it be okay if I help you even more today? So right now, I would love to invite you into our sponsorship hit list training. So this is where I'm going to help demonstrate with you directly in the training, where you can then walk through a 30-minute training and be able to devise who is directly your 200 sponsor prospective hit list. So by the time that you walk away from this next training, you will have your 200 hit list and you will know confidently who you're going to be approaching when you're then presenting with them the packages and pricing that you're desired. So sound good? I'd love to see you. So by just going to register.branchedout.com / sponsor _ hit _ list _ page, by going directly to this web page, you'll be able to sign in and then you'll receive the training, which is 30 minutes. And we just directly go straight into how can you create your sponsorship hit list. And it's a lot easier than you think. And you'll be able to walk away knowing who is on your list. And so you're not just throwing that spaghetti on the wall. You're not just hoping, you're not just going to 100 banks and then just getting the doors closed. You're not going to the bookkeepers because they're like, oh my gosh, I can't afford $10,000 and being on stage really isn't going to be a strong return on investment for me in this stage of the business. But please come back to me in the future. So when you're looking at your sponsorship hit list, this is where you devise your 200, and then you can confidently be able to know that with that 200, who you're going to approach with your sponsorship. So I would love to see you inside of the training. I look forward to supporting you in this specific training on the 200 hit list, and so that you have confidence and clarity as to who you are going to be sending out proposals or sending a message, because you know that there is a strong alignment. So I hope this has now been beneficial for you. Now, I would love to connect from here, from this session. So you're most welcome to join in with our Facebook group, which is Global Business Leaders, events that are bigger, bolder, and profitable. Come on in. We have a weekly training session. This week, we just trained on the 10 sponsorship assets that you most likely already have in your business, and then how you can quickly devise those into your packages. So you can jump straight into this group and be able to watch the training and directly apply. You can join me on Facebook at my personal profile, which is Lauren Penny, or join on the page, which is Branched Out. Our website is also there, branchedout.com. And if you are on LinkedIn, I'd love to see you over in LinkedIn. Come join me, Lauren Penny. So it's been my absolute pleasure to be able to share with you the invisible revenue that is literally, you have the capability and the capacity to be able to really take your event to the next level, because when you have that strong alignment of your audience and the categories, you know, the packages and the pricing, and it's also about devising assets and benefits, which I go through in the training in that Facebook group. When you go through the training, then you can directly see what are those assets that you have that aren't creating more workload to your team. And then by then marrying it up with your 200 hit list, you can then directly go out to the market with so much more confidence and clarity, knowing that there is that sponsorship trilogy being applied. So Lauren Penny, it's been my absolute pleasure to be with you here today, and I look forward and I hope you're having a phenomenal time with the Women in Business Summit, phenomenal speakers, and I look forward to connecting with you. Bye for now.